guys, this is Justin at the Survivor Review, and last night I saw the latest Die Hard movie, A Good Day to Die Hard. And if you guys haven't checked lately, the reviews for the movie have been terrible. They've been bashing the movie, saying how terrible it is. And in all honesty, I actually kind of liked it. Not a whole lot. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was that bad. I think it has to do with my expectations. Even after reading the reviews for the movie, I was still excited to go see it, but I still knew what I was getting into. I wasn't expecting this to be the next Die Hard with a Vengeance or anything like that. I was like, okay, plot's probably gonna suck, but it's gonna be an enjoyable action movie with John McClane in it. And for the most part, that's what it was. So to start off, I guess I'll try to explain the plot. The plot's actually a little convoluted, and it kind of goes one of the problems. The movie is 98 minutes, which compared to the other Die Hard movies, which all were over 2 hours, that's a little short. And there's a lot going on in this, not in the actual movie, kind of like the storyline. It's a little complicated, and I think it needed some padding out. And the movie kind of starts. It's John McClane. He's going to Russia to meet his son there, because he just got arrested, so he's going to, I guess, get him out of jail. They don't really explain why, but they just go, oh, your son's there in jail, and he goes, okay, and he goes. And it turns out his son is a CIA agent who broke this guy out of prison, and this guy who's been in prison for a while, he, has a file that will, I guess, give away that he was working with this guy, which I don't know what this guy, I'm just going to call him a mob boss, but this guy, I guess, and there's the file has info showing that they did bad things together, and I guess that's maybe bad for the mob boss. So the CIA agent is trying, his son is trying to keep that guy safe, while the mob boss is trying to send people to kill him. And then John McClane gets in the way, and they have to kind of work together. A little complicated. And not only that, the plot gets more complicated as it goes on. But, yeah, the acting, everybody is complaining that Bruce Willis, was bad and he sucked and he wasn't trying. I disagree. I thought he was doing good. I think the major problem is why a lot of people are crapping on it is that the script sucks and, there's no McClane moments. There's no, witty one-liners. There's a ton of one-liners, which is a lot of random stuff. And there's no, sarcastic comebacks. So there's no classic McClane stuff. So I think that's what people are getting at. So it didn't really feel a whole lot like McClane. But he was so much more into it. So much better than Live Free or Die Hard. Where, he was just bored the whole time. And just, so serious. And just not McClane at all. This, he feels more like McClane. Kind of like McClane light. Like a light version of McClane. Because he's not as, funny and as witty. And, the acting, for the most part, I thought the performances were pretty good. It was just the writing that kind of made the characters suck. And the actor who plays the son, I thought he did good. And I thought for the most part the chemistry was alright. Mostly, the reason why it wasn't that good is because of the writing. Because the writing didn't really portray it that well. It was just like the fourth movie, where his daughter doesn't want a whole lot to do with him. It's like that. Where his son is all mad at him and stuff. And most of the movies is him saying stuff like that, where he's like, oh, we shouldn't be here, John. What happened to father? Yeah, exactly. And you're just get over it. But for the most part, I thought he was good, and I thought they would have pretty good chemistry together. So I thought they worked together. The rest of the supporting cast is pretty good, I guess. Nothing special, but they weren't that bad. So the one thing everybody was happy for was the R rating. And it kind of delivers. It's a really soft R. And, by saying that, there's a decent amount of F words. Not as much as the Live Free unrated version. And there's a lot of, dubbed in moments where you can tell, the lines looked like they were dubbed in. They were kind of off camera. But they felt more like they were meant to be there. Compared to Live Free or Die Hard, where in this one they'd be used in sentences. Whereas, in Live Free, he'd be, falling, and he'd be like, oh, F, and he'd be like, okay, that's just random. So it felt more like it was meant to be there. I like that. And the violence, it was violent. A lot of people died in this movie. But it wasn't that bloody. It was really kind of clean. Like, there's moments where it should have been bloody. Like, the villain's death scene should have been more bloodier than it was. And, like, there's this one death scene where it's, like, the character's, like, right close to the camera like this. And a person comes in, shoots him in the head. Like, point blank, no cutting away. And it's not bloody. There's a team of blood, but that's about it. So, for the blood-wise, it was tame. And also, there's a scene where McClane and his son, they're tied down. You know, they're tied on their knees. And the bad guy's, like, punching him and hitting him with the butt of his gun. And, like, they're not bloody. They're not really too bloody from that. And you're like, they should be, like, spitting out blood and, like, oh, looking out bloody and crap. But they really didn't. So that was a little weird. That was a little off. I'll put it that way. But one problem, it's kind of a problem. It's kind of like, yeah, kind of die-hardish problem. There was no clear villain. Because there are a lot of, like, double crosses and stuff like that, so without giving away spoilers. So it there wasn't just one villain, and, like, for the most in the movie, it's hard to explain, and they were kind of bland. And I guess it's not too bad for, like, the story of the movie, but as a Die Hard movie, it just seems weird, because you're so used to the one major villain, and what his plans for what he's doing. That and the villain's plans, I didn't really get it. Like, I was kind of lost, like, why would he be doing that? Like, what is he gonna, what? And so that was a little lost. And the pacing also was a little off. The beginning was where the pacing was off the most. Because it was just, like, opening scene, his son gets arrested. Then you see McClane in New York, and he finds that out, and he goes to leave. And the scene of him at the airport talking to his daughter. And then him in the airplane, and all of a sudden he's in Russia, and then the first action scene happens. The beginning, it went by really fast. And that's the major thing of the movie. It felt like it needed to be padded out more. It felt like stuff was cut out. Which I actually hope stuff was cut out, because if that's how it was meant to be, that's not really a good thing. But there is a director's cut in the works. So hopefully that has more, like, character development, more, like, scenes of people talking. Like, there's actually not a whole lot of those. Like, the one scene where the whole action stops and the characters, like, sit down and talk, it's like over an hour in. And so hopefully I want to see more of that, more padding it out. It doesn't have to be 2 hours. I would like it to be, but pad it out. And what the movie is what the movie mostly is action. And for the most part, it's good. The only problem is the director forgot that shaky cam went out of style a few years ago. Because that opening chase scene is so overuse of shaky cam. As the movie got on, it got better. Got a little more calmer. But that first opening scene is overused. And it looked like the Bourne Supremacy, where the camera was shaky. It looked like that. And it almost practically ruined that whole chase scene. Which I was actually kind of looking forward to, because it took them, like, 3 months to shoot, and it looked cool from the clips and the trailers. Even though the trailer gives away the big finale to the scene, which, if you haven't seen the trailer, you'll like that shot. That was actually a good shot. But it's a long scene. It goes on, and most of it's just shaky. And I saw the movie in IMAX, so seeing that on, like, the huge screen gave me a little bit of a headache, because it went on and it's like shaky, and it's like, oh, calm down. And the camera's just. There were some times when the camera moved and it didn't have to. It was a scene. 2 guys standing next to each other, talking. And the camera's all like, while they're talking. They're like, you don't really have to do that. They're just standing there talking. Calm it down. And that was ridiculous. So, for the most part, though, the action was good. There was a lot of good practical, like, stunts and explosions. There was 2 CGI explosions. One that looked really bad. The other one, they looked okay. Looked like they did do some real explosions, but they added in some CGI to make it bigger. So that one didn't look as bad. I actually they had some subtle references to the first movie. A good homage to the villain's death in the first movie. And they used some music cues from the first movie. They recreated them here, and I like that. I don't know if they did in Live Free. I don't remember. I remember thinking they did, but the last time I watched it, I didn't pay too much attention, so I don't remember. But they reused some music cues. And I like that, because there's a couple music cues I wanted them to reuse. There's this great, like, piece of music in the movie where it's like the music is building up, and they use it I think they use it in Die Hard 2, I don't remember, but they use it in Die Hard 1 when the villain dies. And the one scene where McClane's under the table and the bad guy's shooting at him. They use it in with a Vengeance near the end. And I like that kind of music when they use it in here. It's not as good, but I was just happy to hear it. Because I'm like, they're not going to do that. They don't give a crap, but they did. And I'm like, nice. You know, I like that. So, overall, it's an enjoyable movie. Not perfect by any means, but I did have a little more fun with it than I did with Live Free. And the other thing I like, actually, I didn't mention this, is that my problems with Live Free, some of the problems I had was that it took place, like, the movie concluded the next day, and that's not really Die Hard. Die Hard is always kind of like a one-day thing. Like, the first two Die Hards took place over a few hours, and the third one took place, I think, probably around a whole day. And then the fourth one, it's like, it finishes up the next day, and that felt weird. This one is a one-day thing, and I like that. It was just one day. So that was good. That kind of fit more with Die Hard. And another thing was that I didn't feel for Live Free or Die Hard that he had to do this. He just did it because, like, I guess he's a hero. And I think the reason why McClane really had to do this, his, like, thing, he could have just dropped off Justin Long's character at the FBI and went home. But he decided to stay. I don't know why. And this one, at the beginning, throughout the middle, it doesn't really feel like he had to be there. Not at all. But kind of, as it started to get really towards the end, I think you got the feeling that, like, he kind of had to be there. Because, like, his son's partners got killed. So it was just, like, them two. And I guess calling the police, like, would have taken too long. And it would have been easier for them just to do it. So it kind of felt like they had to do it by the end. And I liked that. Because I made it feel a little bit more Die Hard. So I liked it better than Live Free. Not a whole lot. I still think Live Free, the plot was a little more thought out more. And villain was obviously, there's more villain there. So, in that regard, it's a team bit better, but I kind of like this one a little bit more. Not a whole lot, not too much, but a little bit more. At least it's more enjoyable. Let's put it that way. So, definitely a fun movie. Like, I don't see all I mean, I can understand the hate for this movie. That's actually the one thing. Like, if someone walks up to me and we're talking about the movie and he says, like, oh, he absolutely hates it, I'm not going to argue him. I'm going to be like, oh, I understand why. But, I don't know, I just had fun. I think it's because my expectations were low, and I wasn't expecting anything great, and it's not. It's a fun time at the movies, so it was alright. Out of 10, due to the fact that I gave Live Free 6.9, I'll have to give this one a 7. It's a little high, I think, for this movie, but I think a 7 is good. So, that's a good day to Die Hard. Not perfect, not terrible. Just a fun little movie. You don't have to see it right away. You can wait till it goes to, like, the cheap theater or see it at a matinee price, you know. And just if you're looking for just like a fun movie to see at the theaters, go like, oh, okay, I'll see Die Hard. Don't make it like out to be this big thing like, oh, it's the next Die Hard. Those movies are great. Just think it's a fun little Die Hard movie, you know. And yeah, you see McClane again. It's a little fun thing, and just go in thinking it's a fun little movie, not perfect, fun little action movie. And I know you shouldn't, but that's what it is. So just accept it and see it, and that's about it. Talk to you guys later.